second that motion.
Gonna make it.
Make the motion.
Yes.
Got a motion? And a
I'll second.
Second it?
Sorry.
Thank you. Any questions or concerns? No? Any objection to a unanimous vote? No. Minutes will stand approved as written. We'll move right along to our reports. So,
All right.
Guy?
So a lot of this report is ongoing from what I reported on last meeting, so it's going to be, you'll hear about it again, I guess. So building maintenance continues. The Ranshaw House, still working over the issues of the exterior paint. It's coming down where it's really not anyone's fault on it, other than that the siding is not taking paint. It's so old, and it's needs to be replaced sometime. But they're gonna go in there and repaint, and hopefully we'll get a few years out of it. So, but we're working through that. Of course, working with the rec center pool project. Shelley, I'm sure will report on the heater project, pool heater project. That's just has begun now. Hopefully they make some quick headway on that and keep the project moving forward. The fire station, we're getting a lot of shingles put on from the hailstorm in derecho last year. It's hard to get contractors in here. I mean, we've had them on schedule, but there's so many jobs out there that they're spend a little time here and then they go to another job and then come back. So, but finally, the fire station has shingles, and the solar array that was on it is now back in place. Worked on equipment as needed this month. Doing a lot of work with landscaping, roundabout maintenance continues, mowing and trimming. Our landscaping crews still continue to mow or trim back trees along our trails just to make it more user-friendly. Ball field maintenance has slackened a little bit. It's slowed down just because the spring, summer season has kind of come to a close, but we are still making preparations for fall ball, which is just right around the corner. It seems like we don't get a lot of time in between the two seasons. Continue to meet with Shive Hattery regarding the Centennial Park Loop Road and the Forever Green Trail Improvements Project. So the Centennial Park Loop Road, we're gonna have a pre-construction meeting probably late August for that project. That project is supposed to be finalized, final completion around June, middle of June. So it's starting this fall into next spring. Bids did come back really well on that. The engineered estimate on that was $623,000, and the bid came in at $514,900. So it was under bid, or the bid was under the anticipated cost. So
Can you repeat that? The bid was under?
the bid was
It's
under.
rare, you get to hear that.
Yeah, the bid was under, so. And the Forever Green Trail Project, we have a pre-con meeting coming up on August 9th. Substantial completion on that is November 30th. And that as well, the engineered estimate was $125,000, and it came in at $99,760. So it was under bid also, or under cost, so. So that was good. So that project, I think I touched on it. It's that section of trail along Forever Green Road that the backyards dive right into, and water always seeps across it. So we're gonna elevate that trail to prevent the water from accumulating on that trail.
With that Centennial Park project, is there, so they'll start stuff this fall, and then I'm assuming have to take a break during the winter when it's
Yeah.
snowing, and then finish it up in the
That's
spring? Okay.
Yeah, so it's a fairly large project. Definitely gonna change I think that will change the way the park is used, just because it will bring vehicular traffic to the back side and the south side of that park. There will be some parking on kind of the off-street parking right there, or along the street parking. Eventually, we're gonna have a couple shelters on the back side of that, so hopefully we can get that in the budget and moving forward quickly.
But there's still only have entrances on St. Andrews, there's no other
Yeah, that's correct.
driveways, okay.
Both entrances will remain on St. Andrews.
Okay.
And then you had said with the loop road, is that include a parking lot on the south side then?
Yeah, two, kind of the back corners, the east and west corners of it, there will be, some parking that's just connected to the road, so it'd be like, you just pull into it.
Sure.
It will service, main purpose is to service the shelters that are gonna be right next to each parking area, so. And they're also gonna do some tie-ins to the development there with to the trail that are currently not there, and some tie-ins from the parking areas to the trail, so we have some tie-in connections gonna happen too.
So when you say the tie-ins, like, I know there's, oh, I can't remember what, there's a street on the south side that has some sidewalks that go like part of the way, but they don't connect all the way up to the trail.
Those connections are gonna be made during
Okay.
this project.
Great.
Yep. Let's see here, we installed some security cameras at the public works storage areas, that is where everybody took their debris after derecho. We just wanted some way of tracking the public when we do have that area open to the public, just so illegal dumping and things like that, so that's the reason why we did that. And I know I touched on this last month, but it happened before I did my before we had the Parks Board meeting. So Broadmoor Pond had a fish kill, major cleanup there. Actually, I have a picture of one truckload that we took out. But we are coming up with some preventive measures. Have a quote in right now that I just received on an aeration system to put in that pond. That shallow depths of the pond, plus the lack of sunlight, cause low oxygen levels in that pond. And we also get winter kills there also. Has a lot to do with the shallow depths. So looking at an aeration system similar to like a home fish aquarium, but on a much larger scale. So that might be something we look at here in the future after budget sessions and see where we stand on that, so.
I had an individual approach me from that neighborhood to say what a wonderful job, what a great job the crew did down there cleaning that up, worked hard, seemed,
Well,
neighbors appreciated that.
we were fighting time on that because we took us 2 days to clean it up, and the longer it went, the worse it was, so we were working very hard on it to get it over with.
I think they appreciated you got it done before it did get.
Yeah, exactly.
What did we do with the fish? What is the protocol
we
for that?
Took them and we dug a huge hole and buried them. So that's what we did with those. Let's see. Redfern Dog Park, we planted 12 new trees out there, and that was paid in part by a Mid-American Trees Please grant that we received. We do apply for that grant yearly, and we are successful at getting that grant pretty much every year. So there are additional trees out there. They're stressing right now because of the heat we've had, so some of the trees have turned brown, but they're still limber. We've had that happen in the past where it's just a tree's natural way of protecting itself. It protects down low, and they probably will drop some of their leaves, but next spring, I anticipate them just taking off and growing. The Parks Department, we did some playground safety training here on site. IMAU came in and did a class. We had classroom, and then the rest of it was spent on at Penn Meadows Park doing actual inspections, kind of going over new regulations and things like that with playground equipment. And then also on July 31st, we had an Eagle Scout project, and they took on a fairly large project at Beaver Creek. I don't know if you've been down there, but there are 2 walking bridges on either side of the park, and they dismantled one of the bridges and rebuilt it. Those bridges are very, very old. They were here before I started, so I know they're probably pushing 30 years old. So I've actually have a picture of that if you bring that up, but I just want to say thank you to the Boy Scouts for doing a very, very good job on that. They had the Eagle Scout had a friend that was an engineer, so they actually engineered it. But yeah,
Wow.
it turned out really, really nice. Now we just need to get another Eagle Scout project to do the other bridge, so we have one to match, so. And I don't have it in my report, but the tennis court improvements project, It's getting resurfaced, and half of it's getting converted over to pickleball, six pickleball courts. It just started yesterday. They pulled down the fence today, and they're gonna start in that project. They're hoping by the end of August they'd be completed, but they're a week or two behind. And so after they get the new surface there and get it repainted, there's a certain cure time for that paint before anybody can be on it. So we're looking at maybe the first week of September, if all goes well, for that to reopen on the tennis court.
Okay.
You know, some comments from pickleballers was that hopeful it was done during the real hot weather and ready for the nice fall weather.
Yeah,
Sounds
exactly.
like you're on target
Yeah,
for that.
so, getting a little bit of request and advice from the pickleball group on the color scheme of it and how it lays out and everything, so we're just trying to work with them to make all their needs, into this project, so. Other than that, if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
So I did hear or see on there was a Facebook group that Centennial Park had some vandalism there, and
Yeah.
I know there were some comments, people were really appreciative of how quickly you guys got out there and were cleaning things up. Have you guys noticed that more in that Centennial Park area or even in other of the parks lately?
This season has actually been fairly slow on vandalism, so knock on wood, we've been pretty lucky. I'm surprised what they did out there happened, but luckily it was latex paint and it came off with a power washer, so we were very lucky. Somebody had taken latex paint all over the slides and stuff like that, so. And of course, pushed the Porta-Johny over and made a mess, so. But we got lucky on that cleanup. If it would have been, other than latex, it would have been more difficult to clean up, but, we'd actually, I think, someone had sent an email or one of those reports that goes to the communications department, and they let us know right away, and we went out immediately and took care of it, so,
Great, thank you.
yeah, you're welcome.
Everybody appreciates that because outdoor and parks are so important. I was gonna bring up, and I know a lot of people don't know where Beaver Creek Park is, so give them an idea so they'll go check out the bridge.
Yeah, it's right off on the dead end of Chestnut Street.
There's a really great playground with the zip line on it.
Yep.
It's a really nice little park.
Yeah, yeah. The zip line is a pretty good, big attraction to a lot of people. I get emails, phone calls, hey, where's your zip line at? And so, yeah,
Yeah, it's kinda hidden back there, but once people find it, I'm sure
Yeah.
they go, yeah. Thanks. Any other questions for Guy? No? Busy as usual, thank
Yep.
you.
You're welcome.
So now we'll move on to Shelley with the rec report.
Summer season continues, busy with the outdoor pool, and then also summer camp continues. We're down to, I think, 2 or 3 weeks with the start of this month, so we're right in the middle, during the July month, right in the middle of both outdoor pool season and also summer camp, so things were going well. We did have swim lessons, both in the mornings and evenings. Mornings were in the outdoor pool, evenings were in the indoor pool. Aqua fitness classes were one of the classes that came back and bounced back with lots of interest. So we have, as you see later in the report, you can see numbers particular to each class. Some are coming back, some are a little slower than others, so we're just taking it day by day and seeing what comes back or what we need to work on to bring back something in its place. That first thing there, the database, that just gives an idea of how many total individuals we have in our rec desk database. It's helpful to get the information out when we have changes to programming, et cetera. So as it sees there, we have about 14,136 individuals in our database. So it does help with communication, having that easy access through rec desk. The next few sections of the report are just summaries of our aqua programs and an amount of revenue taken in. I don't know if anybody has questions in particular about that. Shows the swim lesson numbers as well and the revenue taken in. Leagues, Brian did have a 3-on-3 basketball league. It was just the girls grades 5 5 that had 7 teams enrolled. Most of our other leagues will start up this fall. You can see the before and after school or summer camp weeks were pretty much full at our 50 participants per week. Some other rec programs are listed there that we had during the month of July. Again, just kind of showing what remains popular or what is starting to come back. Schools, we still are not in the schools for any programming or rentals. Right now, the biggest thing is part-time staff and having enough to cover what we have going on at the facility. Hopefully, starting in the fall, we can get back into the school sites and start also having enough staff to cover those hours as well. Indoor pool basically is still lap lanes, aqua fitness classes, and evening swim lessons. I hear a lot of comments from, this is, the first year that we've separated the indoor pool and the outdoor pool as kind of separate operations. The lap swimmers really enjoy having the lap swim in the indoor pool without crazy kids starting at noon or 1. Same with the fitness classes. And then the outdoor pool is basically the recreational open swim for the community, and that's been very good. I've heard a lot from pass holders that they enjoyed the 1 hour leeway starting at noon for pass holders to go in prior to the daily drop-ins, and so that seemed to work well. So we're just kind of making notes and seeing what has worked well and what other areas we can still continue to improve on.
As far as like outdoor pool, have you guys hit capacity very often where where people are standing in line or they have to wait for a while to get in?
Yes, we have. We had that, what I call red light, green light, kind of yellow light. It's kind of through our rain out system. Working with communications, we thought that would help because that's the biggest thing is, especially drop-ins, they just come without knowing if it will or will not be open due to the capacity limits. That seemed to help that and relieve some of that initial, I can't go in now that I'm here. So that has helped. I would say, though, yes, on busy days, hot days, we do get to that capacity. I would say from now with daily drop-ins being at 1 o'clock, I'd say 1 to probably 3 is still our most busiest time. And then by 4, it dies down again. And usually we don't have any problems after that hitting capacity. But that definitely 1 to 3 time frame is the high use area.
Got it. And it seems like I haven't heard much about like the pool needing to be closed due to cloudiness or water clarity. So are the improvements you've made, or do you think it's a capacity thing, or do you think it's some of the changes that have
I think it's
into place?
both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is both. We did send some water samples and actually cotton swab samples of what was filming on the outdoor pool. The latest from the lab was, they said it was a high concentration of barium, which I guess is from paint. So we're just trying to figure out what would be causing that reaction and having that high level of barium. We've been using a clarifier. It's expensive, but it actually, from my understanding, makes this barium or the film that we're getting. It's basically if you take your hand on the surface of the pool walls, it's like a milky substance on your hand. So what this clarifier does is kind of pulls them together, make them into larger particles to then be filtered out. So again, between this barium factor and then bather load, having that down to the 50%, 250, I think is why we're not experiencing closure. So we'll definitely have to kind of look at that for future years. In the past, we would have our number set based on both pools because they're connected.
Sure.
So we might have to lower that down a little bit for future, just because I think that is the bather load adds to it, I guess you would say.
That
So
makes sense.
we'll continue to work with our pool experts and try and figure out what and why that barium factor, and, you know, I don't know what has changed since 2018, I think, is when we started experiencing it, so it's
Did you have
strange.
the pool repainted?
We did, but,
But what year was that?
well, just last year we
Just
got it
last year.
repainted.
But you were having problem prior to that, yeah.
Yeah. So it's something we'll continue to look in, and actually the painter that we had this last year is the same one Cedar Rapids uses, no issues there. So I think it's a combination of bather load, and then we'll continue to send samples to the lab and try and figure out if there's differences in source water or just a reaction that is happening within our facility, and how can we combat that.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. Under that outdoor pool, you'll also see the numbers taken in as far as revenue within the pool pass, or daily fees, or concessions, and also pool rentals. The rest of the report is basically the weight and exercise area and gymnasiums. We're slowly coming back around with use and with people wanting to come back and use facilities and open them up. Hopefully we can continue in the right direction, but I guess we'll just see what this next month brings.
Do we have any, so, you know, with the Delta variant kind of ramping up and case counts going up again, do you have some trigger points that you have in place for when you would start maybe dialing things back, or, you know, putting some more?
I know the city is always in communication with Johnson County Public Health, and so we just take the lead from them
Okay,
on how they feel.
okay,
And with the rise, I anticipate, I've heard a few even today of certain, like, I think city of Cedar Rapids, any city facilities, you have to wear masks now again. So again, I'm waiting to see what comes of recommendations from Johnson County Public Health, and, you know, that's what we've always done throughout the whole last year and a half, is go with their recommendations, and again, safety and reducing the spread is our key, being such a social facility.
right,
It's hard.
yeah,
So,
Certainly been a learning experience. and-
yes,
and then
definitely.
Some things that we would keep doing even when we returned to full or whatever, because it worked. And
Yeah,
that's- Everybody's been innovative.
And we'll continue to try and figure out, okay, if this continues, what else can we do to keep it going? So, just regular information and the rest of my report. So I guess I'll open up to any questions you might have.
Shelley, I had a question just out of curiosity on the info that we get from Rec Desk on residents versus non-residents. Has that ratio always kind of been how things have been? Or have we seen any trends with more or less non-resident percentage
It's actually been pretty steady at
study?
that percentage difference. It's been pretty constant, actually. I was surprised at that too,
Yeah.
but no, it's been pretty steady at that, what was 65 and 35, I think, something like that. So pretty consistent at that at this point.
Thank you.
And then that is based on within the city limits, or what do you want to call it? Because you have your,
I know what you
County.
mean. I can't think
I
of,
can't
yeah.
think of it either. The whole boundary.
Yes.
Boundary,
The
yeah.
boundaries of actual city boundaries, so.
I think they allude to something about the heater.
Oh,
Or was there
yes.
something that just
The pool
discussed?
heaters, yes. Actually, that project was approved and that is to start August 16th. Actually, they did some groundwork just outside the facility. I think they started last week. It's been about a week in, so there's a big hole to the east side of the building, and here shortly, I'm sure all the materials will start to arrive, and we'll see that going up. And we have not heard exactly yet. At some point in time, both the indoor and outdoor facility would be closed because it is hooking up with the circulation process of both pools. I have not heard exactly when and how long we will be down, but as soon as we hear that, we'll get the word out to the public. Until then, right now, they're originally thought they were gonna maybe not do that until September, so then they don't have to worry about the outdoor pool, which would be nice, but it still affects indoor pool. That's why swim lessons, water fitness classes, et cetera, we don't have anything really right now planned for the month of September, and holding off until mid-October to hopefully restart those up, and hopefully everything goes smooth and we're on track.
Anything else? Thank you, Shelley. We have nothing listed under new business. Somebody has anything to bring forward? Nothing under old business. So we're at that time when we can quit preempting the Olympics and call
Go
for a motion,
USA.
call for a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
Do we hear a second?
I second that motion.
Any objection to adjourning? Meeting adjourned.